Alrighty, so I watched the episode 6 of The Acolyte, and I can categorically tell you guys that it is a snooze fest, and I can see why this show is an absolute disaster, and nobody really cares about this show. It's still currently sitting at 14% audience score at Rotten Tomatoes, but I think that people have gotten to the point of apathy when it comes to this show. Nobody cares about the show anymore, so they're not really rating it, because if they were, this rating would have gone way lower than this 14% that it is sat on, as it were. So I believe personally that from what I'm seeing, that this 14% is going to sit there for a long time as 14%. We're not going to get that single digit that we were asking for. But in any case, you guys, nobody's really seeing this show. I saw it personally, and I can tell you why nobody's really seeing it. Because Osher and May, nobody cares about them. Why should we care about them? We all know what's going to happen. One of them's going to switch to being good. The other one's going to switch to being bad. The one that switched to being good is going to convince the one that turned bad to become good again, because we've already been told that this show is Kill Bill meets Frozen. And in Frozen, the two sisters were good, and there wasn't really majorly a bad person per se in Frozen, although there was a bad guy somewhat in part 1 and so on and so forth. But yeah, this is the thing that they are bringing here. This is not Star Wars. You are watching Disney Star Wars, not Star Wars. And so people can see that. People can see what they are trying to push. People can see the fact that the messaging that they are trying to push here is an allegory for a certain community in the world, trying to tell you that it's not about good and evil, it's about power and who is allowed to use that particular power. So we all know the type of messaging that they're trying to prove, because they're trying to make the Sith look, relatable. They are trying to make us care about the Sith and see that maybe the Sith is not really the bad guy in this particular, storyline, because we've seen some whiplash mark on the Sith's back, and we've seen a particular Jedi use a lightsaber that's like a whip. So obviously that Jedi will be the master of the so-called Sith, when the Sith was a Padawan or something of that nature. So we've seen all this thing. I mean, it's so easy to actually tell you what's going to happen in this show. So it's not too far-fetched to know why people don't care about it. However, mainstream media out there, regardless of the fact that they know that people don't care about this show, are still trying to tell you that, nope, do not rely on what you're seeing with your own eyes, especially from all the outlets that you have a voice to actually air your own voice. They say, forget Rotten Tomatoes, new viewership data shows what's really going on with The Acolyte. And that data that they showed was kind of like a self-own on their own part, because they're trying to tell you The Acolyte's first 2 episodes saw 210 million minutes. Now, I did a comparison and contrast between this particular thing and all the other Star Wars shows yesterday, showing that Ahsoka had 829 million minutes viewed in its first 2 episodes over a 7-day period, or was it a 14-day period, which is what, 5 times better than The Acolyte. Andor was 3 times better than The Acolyte, and Obi-Wan Kenobi was about 5 times better than The Acolyte. Boba Fett, they were all better than The Acolyte. The Acolyte is the worst viewed show. However, they still want to try to convince you as much as they can. So you get articles like this coming out from CBR saying The Acolyte's data suggests Star Wars series is a big hit despite backlash. Now, of course, they are claiming that the backlash is coming from who? The men. The men. So when it comes to The Acolyte, you now know how to differentiate between men and women, that it is the male character. Well, the person playing this female character identifies as non-binary. So are you not the bigot now trying to claim that she's female when she doesn't identify as a female, right? Kathleen Kennedy, that when you put a female as the head of a show, or you put the female as the main character, that's what Kathleen Kennedy was saying, right? So she the bigot, as it were, right now. And also forgetting that Mandalorian was actually being directed by a woman, and so you can't tell us that people don't like a show simply because a woman is on it, or a woman is directing it, or a woman is the main character. One of the favorite characters that people were calling for a spin-off for was Cara Dune. However, you fired the main actress that people loved. You fired Gina Carano, and that tanked the show, because people actually left the show because you sacked or you fired a fan favorite, and that fan favorite, last I checked, was a woman. But in any case, you guys, they still want us to think that this show is doing pretty great, and so you still get another article like this coming out saying The Acolyte's through Disney's Plus viewership is more impressive than first thought, right? And where are they all getting this story from? Where are they all getting this from? Well, they're getting it from Screen Rant. They're getting it from this third-party data from Screen Rant. Screen Rant is telling us exclusive data shows that The Acolyte is a Star Wars success story despite the backlash. That's what they're telling us. So they've provided this from the Real Good website, therealgood.com, claiming that Obi-Wan Kenobi is the best with 7.9 according to this rating metrics, and The Acolyte is 6.1 according to this rating metrics, beating Ahsoka, beating Mandalorian, beating Book of Boba Fett, and Andor, right? So what are they basing their metrics on? Well, Real Good compares the live action Star Wars Disney Plus TV shows looking at the first 14 days since The Acolyte's release. They found that The Acolyte is the second most successful in terms of streaming and engagement. Not only streaming, no, you have to add and engagement, outperforming the average top 100 TV shows by a factor of 6. Now, to be fair to you guys, I did Google this from my phone to see the trend on engagement purposes. And when it comes to engagement, and like I've told you guys before, seems like Disney wants to be in the business of influencing rather than in the business of entertaining. When it comes to, if you go to Google Trends and you check, you'll find out that, you know, Andor and Ahsoka, they had pretty high ratings. And when it comes to the engagement in recent times, the engagement for The Acolyte has really gone up. But these are all negative engagements. The reason why The Acolyte is having a lot of engagement online, or the trends are moving towards it, is for negative purposes. It's because people do not like this show. But they're trying to pass this off as a success, right, from these bogus metrics. So I decided, after checking that out, let me go to the Real Good website itself and see the actual ratings. So let's check out the ratings starting from The Acolyte itself on the website. So The Acolyte itself on the website, and this is what they base their rating on, because what they do is they try to get you to understand what's going on with certain TV shows so that you know where to find them, you know whether to go and watch them or not. Pretty much what, you know, all the other sites are doing, like Rotten Tomatoes and IMDb. So this is their ratings. This show is currently, from all TV shows, ranked at 7,222. Now, it is given a 65% rating out of 100 from 226 people, right? That's not too many people. So the more people you get, the less that ranking is going to go. That rating is going to go way less than 65%. Now, according to them, the Real Good score is a comparative weighted index designed to evaluate movie and quality and TV quality. Derived its values from a blend of Real Good user engagement, external ratings metrics, express true content popularity, and user feedback, including ratings such as loved, like, and dislike. The score is presented on a scale from 1 to 100, where 100 signifies content that is highly esteemed and positively rated within the community. This is according to their website, the website that Screen Rant said, and it's ranked 65 on that website. 65. Well, then Obi-Wan Kenobi should be ranked 66, 67 or whatnot. But Obi-Wan Kenobi is ranked 80 from 2018 people. That's 9 times more people that have ranked Obi-Wan Kenobi. It's rated at 80. Sorry, its current TV ranking is what, 982 of all TV shows, as far as, you know, the Real Good is concerned, right? Well, at least it's better than 7,222, isn't it? Well, let's move on to the next one. Who's the next in line? Book of Boba Fett is even better than that. It's on the greens because it's ranked 84, and its ratings, as far as all TV shows concerned, is 599, which is a far cry from 7,222. Right? We move on to Ahsoka. Ahsoka is ranked at 84, very similar to Book of Boba Fett, ranked by 747 people, which is still way more than, you know, The Acolyte. It's ranked at 527, slightly better than Boba Fett in terms of ranking, but even way better than, you know, what do you call it? The so-called best one, the Obi-Wan Kenobi from their show. Well, let's move on to Andor. Andor is sitting at 90. Remember, they said from 1 to 100, where 100 signifies content that is highly esteemed, right? And I told you guys yesterday, and at the time I told you guys, I hadn't even discovered this website, right? So at 90, which goes to show that people like this show. This show is doing pretty well, ranked by 1,779 people, right? And it's ranked 222 not 7,222. So where did they get their data for? Now, for parity's sake, I decided to also go and check House of Dragons. I decided to check House of Dragons to actually see for parity's sake, because the House of Dragons, we've already been told, we already know it's a good show. People love this show, right? It's had good rankings across the board. And what does it have? Lo and behold, it's ranked 116 of all TV shows and 92 when it comes to ratings. So according to this, they're trying to tell us that this thing that is ranked 7,222 is better than Andor that is ranked 116. Something that has a rating of 65 is better than something that has a rating of 90. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but that math ain't mathing, right? In it. But this is where we are at. This is great success according to Screen Rant and all these other media outlets. Wherever they got this metrics from, I haven't the foggiest idea how they came up with these metrics. But this is where we are at, trying to tell us that this is better than this. How is that even possible? But if it is their yardstick for success, then I truly, truly wish Disney more success.